Freakout Factor is the segment. I throw out the topics. Anthony tells us where these topics and issues fall on his Freakout Factor. Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
Good morning, Roflo. First Freakout of 2025, and a lot of material this early in the season, I got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump right in here. Let's talk about the Freakout Factor on major league pitchers across the league getting hit with or by torpedo bats. Where are you on the Freakout Factor?
This is a 0 out of 10 for me. 0 is the number of us who even noticed these things in spring training. We were not on the ball as much as the torpedo bat is, but I got one here, and it looks pretty normal to me, right? It's just a little thicker, but I would just make the point that there's no magic bat, Roflo.
That's I don't think that's a torpedo bat. That's a submarine bat.
Yeah, that's what we really need in MLB. But there's no magic bat, and I think that we've seen success with this. I don't think we're going to see headlines when guys go 0 for 4 with the torpedo bat. It's just the nature of things. But they definitely can make a difference for certain types of hitters. But every hitter, when he chooses his stick, has to make a compromise. The length, the species of wood that they use, the weight. These things affect everything. So with the torpedo bat, the weight is lower down, closer to the handle, so you're not going to generate as much power if you miss-hit the ball.
Yep.
So, for an Aaron Judge, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. He's the prototypical slugger, but, we've seen guys have success with it, and we should all root for it, Roflo, because we need anything that can improve contact rate across MLB.
Absolutely. Are we not doing phrasing anymore? So much to take away from there. Hey, the Atlanta Braves, Anthony, are 0-5. Where does that land on your Freakout Factor?
Not as high as my phrasing, but 8.7 out of 10. That's the combined WAR last year for Jurickson Profar and Reynaldo Lopez. Profar, of course, with the Padres last season, and he was their key offseason acquisition. Lopez, one of their key starters, and they've got Jared Kelenic, they've got Alex Verdugo as options in the corner outfield, but man, things are a mess for the Braves. I mean, Profar with the Profarmance enhancing drugs, he was their key. He was supposed to be the key to their lineup until they get Ronald Acuna back. Lopez, this is his third IL stint dating back to last August. They're 0-5, worst start in quite a while. They did go 0-4 and win the World Series as far back as 4 years ago, and I'm not going to fully freak out what with Acuna and Spencer Strider coming back relatively soon, but deep hole here early.
And they've got 2 more games against the Dodgers. Keep in mind, no team has started 0-7 and made the postseason. So just something to keep in mind. Hey, the Milwaukee Brewers, they too are off to a bit of a slow start. It is early. They're 0-4. What do you think?
Well, 12.27 is their staff ERA. So let's just break the scale and go 12.27 out of 10. They're serving up more meatballs than my aunt at Sunday dinner. And Aaron Savali in the offseason, key part of their lineup last year. You trade Devin Williams. You have this brutal start on the pitching side, but that's not why I'm freaking out. I think the Brewers ruined their year by trading a guy named Brewer Hicklin, outfielder in their system, traded to the Tigers over the weekend. I don't think the baseball gods let you get away with something like that without some pain. So I think that's what's going on in Milwaukee.
Things going much better for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are undefeated, but Roki Sasaki, 2 starts, 9 walks. Where is that on the freakout scale?
For me, that's a 2. That's how many starts he's made. And we know the Dodgers are a pretty good ball club coming out of that start. And this is a major adjustment for him. The ball itself, I think, is a major adjustment, particularly for a young pitcher who's trying to, improve his command. But, the Dodgers are an interesting spot with him because, on the one hand, you think, well, send him down to AAA and let him iron it out. But his stuff is so good, his raw stuff, that he could probably just overpower people at AAA and learn nothing.
Yeah.
So they're in a spot where they're so deep and talented that I think you just keep letting them try to figure it out at the big league level. I don't think it affects their season a great deal. That's just my take for now. We'll see.
Sticking with the Dodgers, finally, where does Freddie Freeman, slipping in the shower, aggravating the surgically repaired ankle, where does that land on your scale?
This is 0-0 because that was the count on his gimpy grand slam, his heroic moment, many of them in the World Series last year, but of course his signature moment. And we saw he was able to manage the ankle issue, during that World Series. Great insight into that in the new World Series doc that just came out on Apple TV. Mookie Betts vomited for 2 straight weeks and then hit a walk-off homer the first weekend of the season. So it's hard to freak out about anything involving the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think they could afford to tell Freddie, you know what, Freddie, we'll see you in August. Just take
right.
take all the time you need. Hang around the family. If you want to come to the park, sure, but you just make sure you're right come the late summer and fall. Slugging over 1,100. He's got 7 ribeye steaks. And the Arizona Diamondbacks begin a series tonight in New York against the New York Yankees. But as we are now joined by Albert Pujols and Mark DeRosa, who combined have 803 home runs in Major League Baseball. Granted, Albert has 703 of them, but Zero, you're right there in the
I got 100. I got 3 digits. Hey, time out. I was saying this in break. I played with Albert, but...
Welcome to a brand new hour of MLB Central. We're glad you're with us on this Tuesday morning or afternoon, depending on when you're watching. Mark DeRosa, Robert Flores will check in with Lauren. She's at Braves Ballpark Cam in just a second, but we want to say good morning and hello to the Hall of Famer Albert Pujols. How are you, man?
Great. Good to be here again.
We just happened to pick up in the hallway just one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Yeah, you want to come in, do a little couple segments?
Do a bit.
You know, your off season was quite an eventful one for you. You were managing in the DR and the Winter League, led them to a Caribbean World Series. First of all, what was the managerial experience like?
To go to the Caribbean Series, which I never participated in the Caribbean World Series and be a manager and taking that title was awesome. But all the credits, go to my coaching staff. They believe on it. They believe on the guy and the players,
Yeah.
I think they did a great job.
You give some hitting tips?
A little bit. You have to.
Sometimes your manager gives you hitting tips. You're like, come on. He comes up to you and gives you hitting tips.
You're all ears.
Yeah,
but I had great coaching staff. I had great bullpen. Great hitting coaches. So once in a while, I went to the guy. Come on, what are you doing?
Get your stance.
Hey, well, we're glad you're here. Let's get it started here, front and center. Show you what you may have missed around Major League Baseball on Monday. Let's get it started. Where are we getting it started? We're going yesterday, 9-0. Sarah Langs, friend of the program, had this tweet: White Sox are the 4th team to have their starters not allow an earned run in each of their first 4 games of a season since since earned runs were an official in both leagues, joining the Blue Jays, who did it in 2019, the Giants, and the Milwaukee Brewers way back in 1976. Dodgers are 6-0.
Yes, they are. I want a number specifically. Ball or strike is the name of this game, gentlemen. You know how this works. If you agree, it is a strike down the middle. Disagree, take the ball. All right? You ready? D-Rose said the Dodgers go 160-2. The Dodgers will set the all-time single-season wins record. Ball or strike, D-Ro, 14 home runs already on the season. What do you think?
This is a strike if they want it to be. That's the way I feel about it. It's a matter of load management down at the end. If they want to push their pitchers or if they want to save them and get ready for the postseason.
I mean,
they've covered up
starting pitchers.
They're 6-0. Mookie's 120 pounds.
Yeah.
He got sick. Freddie's barely played.
Right.
Tommy Edmonds, you had him.
That was a great pick. I told Dino Evo last year when they picked Tommy Edmonds, he was like, that's a great pick. This guy can produce from both sides.
The way they do it, though, the Conforto and Kike's, and they match them up against guys that they absolutely rake against. So they have superstars and then really good matchups. And
do you think they get the all-time wins record?
That's a strike for me.
Okay.
They are built for it.
2 for 2, Lauren.
Okay, Freddie and Mookie, 3 and 2 games respectively, to D-Rose point. Offense is the theme early on. Aaron Judge, you ready? Will hit more home runs in 2025 this year than he did all of last year in 2024. The number was 50.
He's got 4 already in the tank. You would know better than me, but I think he's got 60.
Well, definitely 100%. That's a strike for me as well. I mean, it's a great start. He got 4 right now, and I think the only thing that will slow him down is if they stop pitching to him.
Yeah, Lauren, strike for me too. I mean, who am I to second guess or doubt this monstrosity of a man? By the way, we saw him at the stadium on opening day. He's so much bigger than you anticipate. I mean, on TV, you're like, okay, this is a very large human. He is so much bigger in person.
But he's shredded.
Yes.
He is.
Yeah.
That's the
so
thing.
how complete are the Yankees is my next question, because the Rangers are the most complete team in the American League. That's what it says on this sheet. Think about it. I already know what you're going to say.
I'd say ball to that just because of their bullpen situation right now. God, complete team.
in the American League. Would you include the Guardians in that mix?
I
like the Orioles.
You like the Orioles?
I like the Orioles.
I like the Red Sox roster.
Yeah, that's fair. I think they're too. Yeah, I'm going to say Ball to this because of the issues in the bullpen, which, as we know, Lauren, Bruce Bochy is a wizard when it comes to managing a bullpen, and CY is going to do something at the deadline or earlier to shore up that bullpen.
Mays just said it in my
I would
ear.
say Ball myself too, because you just don't know the ground and anything about with the injuries. Would they stay healthy all year? So
Mays said he doesn't think there is a complete team in the AL yet.
You might be right. You might be right.
Okay. What about Kyle Tucker? I have one more. He will finish top 5 in the National League MVP race. He's your guy, Dero. Finished 5th in 2023. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to throw this to Albert because we were sitting in my office and this was the one question we knew was coming. And my initial reaction is to say yes. And Albert's like,
I would say no. That's a ball for me as well, because when you got Tatis, you got Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie. Acuna obviously is in the DL right now, but Ellie. Those guys are legit. Not to take away anything from Tucker, but I think my early pick for an MVP is going to be Fernando Tatis this year.
Really?
Yeah, I love the way he started. It is a strike for me, Lauren. Remember, Kyle Tucker was having an MVP caliber season when he got hurt last year with the Astros. And
okay. 2 home runs, 7 RBI so far this season. I have one more just added. This just in. Something's going on with you and a chiropractor or something. Robert will need to go to the chiropractor is the next statement.
Well,
what happened?
What she's talking about here is my back's been a little sore, and I was at the chiropractor yesterday, and she asked, why is your back sore? And I said, it's because I've been carrying a morning show for the past 4 days. All right. She wasn't here at all last week. She's here in studio this week, and now I've got all the bumps.
I will say, she's trying to sabotage our ratings, is what she's doing.
Lauren, people need to see the banner walks. They need to see the banner walks, everything.
Is this a contract year for you?
No, why?
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
What are you wondering?
Yeah, exactly. You have Lauren, let me just say this. You have a very dedicated fan base. And I say that with all due respect and with peace and love.
It's game changing when you're here.
I know it is. It is. All right, we've got some feedback.
Dynamic.
Let's go to hashtag MLB Central, Nintendo Bro. Hey, Roflo showing why he's the best in the game, starting this MLB Central Day early.
Hear this.
And I brought donuts that one time, Lauren. Don't forget, I brought donuts that one time.
Our crew sees right through you.
Yeah, they
know.
I gotta get. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get an omelet guy out here at some point. How do we tee that up, Paladino? Get an omelet guy.
Well,
when in doubt, Paladino.
Before we get the omelet guy, we've got a home run guy here, and he's going to be breaking down some swings, specifically, Eugenio Suarez. Albert Pujols in studio, talking hitting.